Hi guys, this is Russ Gosselin, and it's been a while. Starting to get better from my sickness. It's come back. It's awful. But you know what? Keep on building a little bit here and there. Doing the best I can. So today is my update on my universal carrier. This is part 2 of that extremely long build. I really apologize for all of any of you guys out there that have been kind of watching this. You're probably saying, is he ever going to finish anything? Seems like he builds a lot of stuff but nothing gets done. Just want to reassure you that I am building and trying to improve on that pace, because one of the negatives that I'm noticing is, the more the model lingers, what do I usually say? Things get lost, things get broken, and my general interest in the model begins to decline. I just want to get it done, and then I'm rushing. Then you kind of get lost. Deadlines are awful. It's even my own deadlines that I set for myself. Crazy. So anyway, here's what I got so far. Got my universal carrier. Yay! What am I going to call this? I've been calling this the Frankenstein build. It's not a lemon, but it's a Frankenstein. I was thinking of Panzerman Bunker and Alex Modeling. They had that lemon build, group build, and yeah, this is a Frankenstein. And what I mean by that is, if we're familiar with the Mary Shelley story, Frankenstein was, built with all sorts of parts and stuff from all kinds of things, dead people and stuff. So this is like a conglomeration or a melting pot of different modeling techniques that I'm trying to master and get better at. And so it was just like one experiment after another, trial and error. I paid $3 US dollars for this, so I just had a lot of fun trying out new gizmos, new things. I don't think I'm brave enough to try new techniques on a new kit. That just, from my perspective, it just seems like a not so hot of an investment. But that's my opinion, and well, here it is. So let's get going. Let's start on what's been going on this crazy contraption here. So let's start off with some painting techniques. If you go back to that first video update from March, I worked on the interior, and I used hairspray technique. I wanted to try it out with a non-winter vehicle. A lot of times the hairspray technique works really great with those winter camo schemes. So I tried it out with a black base and a desert yellow, black primer, and then a desert yellow base. And overall, it was pretty impressive. It worked. Some subtleties. Don't pound that brush in there, because it'll just scrape it all off. So on the exterior, I wanted to try out my paint chipping on my Command half track. I'm not using the hairspray technique. I'm using just an enamel from Model Masters Testers. It's like a burnt umber, and I'm using a fine brush, and I'm just painting it using the side of the brush bristles, and just kind of going against sharp edges and just sort of building up from that. And kind of applied the same technique here, and I'd never used it before, and overall I'm happy with it. I think it's getting some decent results. Very subtle. You can have a lot of more, I'm noticing a lot of control. If I want to add more, I can build it up. And the initial application, it's very light. And for me, that's a good thing, because I'm trying to work on being more subtle. So that part has been pretty cool. And then the second paint job was, I think I got this whole dot filter concept down, at least the basics down. I remember in my first video I tried using it on the inside, and it didn't work out. All the colors just sort of melded into one monochromatic color, and it didn't have that modulation or variation that you see in the magazines and other model builders who have really got that craft or technique down. But I have a hard time saying no So I tried doing it again. I started in the bow, and actually, who was it? Colladito1 Lewis, and some other guys on YouTube. You know, you do the bottom. You know what? Thanks, Lewis. That's a good plus. And I always recommend. You know, it's a good experimental place because for the most part, it's never going to be seen. So you can see it's kind of got some blue. I used a little bit of blue oil paint for my dots, and I was getting what I wanted, but the blue was just harsh. As you can see, it's really pronounced. What I've noticed is, for me, you know, the dot filter, kind of think about what colors you're going to use. And certainly I stay away from those primary colors because you get like a red and a blue and it just like hits everywhere and you can't get rid of it. So I just use like a burnt umber, a white, browns, and a little bit of darker blacks, and I use just a toothpick dot, just a little bit, because just a little bit of oil paint goes a long way, I've noticed. So got the bow here. And I'm sorry, you probably can't really see much. Probably like, I can't see this, Russell. Don't know what you're talking about. But, you know, I just kind of followed along. And the real trick with the oil paint is you got to be constantly remove the paint that builds up on the brush, wipe it down. So I had like a paper towel, and I was just like brushing that stuff. Each streak, each stroke, go one stroke at a time. That's how I started. Wiping, stroke, and then just start building up the pace, and you get to a place where you can start to kind of manipulate the color a little bit. So the bow was here, and I started there, and I kind of worked on each panel. The only thing I did that was complicated for me was like, it works great on like a flat surface, but if you can see, like, you know, the nooks and crannies, you know, it's kind of hard to work in. So it's one of those things, you know, chicken before the egg. You know, do you want to put all that extra stuff on? Maybe save it for later or before. You kind of have to throw up a coin and find out. And the thing is that progressively it got better. I really like the rear and the starboard side. It came out really good, and I just kept on trying the technique out. And here, I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, there's definitely some color contrast and content that's really cool. I was really impressed with the rear. Very subtle, but you begin seeing some streaking and some lines and stuff, and it comes out pretty nice over here on this side. And overall, I'm okay with it. You know, it works. And as I always say, with practice, the results will appear. May not be on that very first go, but I can assure you, you know, practice does pay off. And so I look forward to trying out that technique on other things, other models. So those were some of the painting things I worked on. I did a lot of scratch building on this. Not so much conversion with the kit, but I did a lot of add-ons for stowage. You know, this is the Tamiya kit, and usually comes with that big, bulky tarp thing. I think I have it here still. I'm not really a big fan of this. I mean, it works, it does the trick. But I didn't want to use it. So I decided to put in my own things. So what did I do? The gas cans here, I just converted them a little bit. I kind of used some lead foil handles, and I put in my own spouts. And then I built up this sort of cage or brackets, because, you know, the field crews, you know, they just get some square bend metal stripping and just weld the stuff so that you can put it on the fenders and things. And then over here I kind of did the same thing with a this is a Tamiya spare parts box, and put in some lead foil strapping. And over here I got the this other box. This is pretty much the stock one that came with the kit. I just kind of converted it a little bit because it had some really weird pieces that made no sense to me. So I kind of cut it, stripped it, sanded it, and I just put in some square bend on the bottom and a lead foil strap that's strapped in. So, you know, maybe it's a can of oil or petrol gas or who knows. whatever. Choose your own adventure, I say. And then I got my little backpack with lead foil straps. You can't see the straps. I haven't painted them yet. And on this side I got I have another bag and a helmet which has yet to be painted. So there's that part, and those came out pretty good. I was overall pretty impressed with it. And I got some of my stowage and extra things, the radio that I'm gonna kinda working on weathering. And I got my Messerschmitt 109 for the group build from our friend Jim, who's got the Aces Luftwaffe. Well, it's not really Luftwaffe, it's like German Aces of the 20th century, which I'll be making a video for this weekend. And so there's all this stuff. And the only problem I had with my stowage was I had this is the I think it's Italeri or Testers, the box, and I had already painted it. And I have a technique for wood grain that I use often, and I find I like the results as usually the stock piece that comes from the manufacturing, the wood grain wasn't that good. I thought it was. I was at first looking at it going, oh, it's going to work. And I assembled it and painted it, primed it, painted it, and then I got ready for my wash that I put on, an oil wash, and it just was awful. It didn't have the effect that I usually get, and it's because the grain it was shallow. Usually what I do is I scribe it with a sharp razor or X-Acto blade, and I really work in those grains really nice and deep. And when I put in a nice umber wash over a dark yellow base, it just really looks like wood, and it has a nice effect. And I used it on my Command half-track, the wood seats for the half-track. I put those in, and I'll have a video very soon on that update, and those came out really sharp. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to rework this chest box thing. I'm going to have to grind down all the hinges and stuff that came with the stock piece, and then just re-scribe everything and maybe reattach the hinges with some sheet styrene bits. And then go back through the whole process again. It's okay. It was a small delay, but just reinforces, sometimes, our techniques, they work. We should be using them. And for some reason I thought that, oh no, it's going to be fine. And it wasn't. But, that's how we learn. So, alright, so there's that. And, I really don't have anything else to say about this. It's, the chassis. The chassis of this, this kit. Oh, I know, Dragon through Rich, it's like another part of the manufacturing business part, they just came out with a carrier, so I think we're gonna have to get that someday down the road. The Tamiya kit was a good kit. Just I found the chassis just to be awful. I wasn't anticipating it. I went through the instructions, I dry fitted it, and what happened was when I started gluing these in, they didn't really stay in. They kind of started going like that, and I didn't anticipate that, so I had no jig. I was sitting there holding this kit for like an hour, kind of thinking, all right, how can I make a jig for this so I don't have to be here holding this thing? And so luckily I was able to get some pencils and some weights and kind of do something. And what happened was the darn thing wasn't. You want your model to be level with the surface of the ground it's on, and mine was it was riding up like this. I'm like, ah. So once I got the jig in place, I got it pretty much level. It's still a little bowed when you bring it out like that. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. I certainly do. That was just a pain. So this will eventually have to go into a diorama and just kind of bury the tracks a little bit. And that's about it. I really wish I could say more, but I can't. this will get done hopefully this weekend. I know I keep on saying, oh, it's going to be done at this particular time, and doesn't happen, but no, I want this thing done. And oh yeah, I did add some chain to the front here. Usually there's the model comes with a rope. A lot of pictures you see on for references, they'll use a lot of rope. But I had this spare chain kicking around. It was a used chain from another model that I found in my parts box. So I said, hey, you know, chain, give it a try. I never used chains. It's my first time putting a chain on a model. The thing was, it was a really rough chain. It was kind of had some rough surface, and so I just kind of glued it on, and then I just painted it, which that's kind of tedious because you kind of have to go through and look for all the links, and I didn't like that. Next time, I got some nice clean brand new chains, and hopefully I can put the chain on after all the painting and stuff. Maybe that will look a little bit better. And armaments, I have the got my Bren guns. I just gotta paint the did a little research with my books that I have. It, you know, it had a wood stock, and it's got like a wood handle up here. I wasn't too sure it was a painted wood, straight wood, so it looks like it's kind of got a bit of a paint to it. I mean, I'm not really an accuracy nut job, but you know, I just want to kind of get a general idea. I would probably paint it like a dark wood tone of some kind. So this is the main piece, and then I got, this thing has a lot of Bren guns, and then I got, this is for the bow, and I'll get that put in, and then you get the spare, which I guess goes in storage along one of the walls. I was gonna put in some take some photo etch fretboard and just kind of bend some like hooks so you can cradle it, and I'm just saying I'm just gonna glue it to the wall and call it a day, you know. That's what I mean about you build a model, and if it's on the workbench for so long, you get to some point where it's like you just don't care, you just get it done, which might not be a good habit to develop. You always want to put in your best in whatever you do in life, you know, whether it's work or hobbies or, you know, your special interests, you know. Yeah, and we got the decals, and here's the decal sheet, and I don't know, I've been pretty lucky with Tamiya decals. They hold up pretty well. Again, my experience. Some people like can't stand them. I haven't had any bad experiences, and you know, there's no they're not really yellowed for their age, so I really don't feel I need to bleach them. I'll just give them a try, and hopefully they'll go on. But like I said, I've used some decals that are like definitely 30 years old and had no problem with them. A little microsol, microset, or solvaset, they work pretty good. And there it is, all done. So thanks for watching. Thanks for any of you people out there that have been kind of like waiting, like, hey, when's this thing gonna get built? So thanks for kind of persevering. And this is the final update on this universal carrier. The next video will actually be a gallery slideshow I'll put up when it's all done. And there it is. So again, you know, comments, feedback is always exciting. And I wish you a good day. So this is Gosselin signing out. Bye.